Okay, so gonna do something different. Gonna do it in a different locale. So, as I have recently shown, my hobby area is currently non-existent until my basement gets sorted out and repaired, and then I can be back to my usual work environ. In the meantime, this does kind of put a bit of a limit on the things I can do. Fortunately, fortunately, I did have a few things which I had set aside, and I can now get into doing those since I am unable to do anything else. So, what I have here and what I am going to start is this Woodocity mechanical music box. This is all out of wood. It does have the gear drive mechanism in there to power this whole thing and get everything rotating. Should be very cool. That's why I bought it. I love doing woodwork. I've built quite a few pieces of furniture in my house, and no, it's not falling apart and nails and everything else. I don't consider myself a carpenter, but I do put effort to make some nice stuff. That aside, I saw this. I forget where I saw this advertised. It might have very well been an ad on YouTube, but I just thought I'd pick this up and give it a try, and it was a fairly reasonable cost. Woodocity does make a whole line of these types of kits, but I just thought subject matter, the fact that it's gear driven, just really different and interesting. So I'm gonna take a quick break, open this box, be right back. All right. Okay, so before digging into the parts, should have shown you the back of the box where you do get to see some of the other kits that Woodocity has, and carousels, secret garden. This airplane control tower is pretty neat, a Victorian lantern, and they have quite a few others. This is their website, woodocity.com, big surprise, and that's that. So let's dig into the pieces. They do come in this nice plastic tray, which is good to know since it is wood. We don't want that to get damaged. And they are sealed in here. We get this shrink wrapped slab, and you can see how the pieces are all laser cut in there, and they will be popped out and assembled. They are numbered, so it's like any other traditional assembly kit, in that you have pieces, you have instructions, you have assembly. We have some mechanical elements here. They do give you a little screwdriver. We have the various orbs as these plastic crystal balls, and some more metal rods. That's nice to see, so that the assembly will have some mechanical strength to it. And in this bag we have this little, this looks like a little base of some sort. I guess we'll find out during the build. And we have look like, I don't know if those are, oh, those look like hard plastic, so they're probably little plastic bearings. We have our actual music box. I'm not able to turn it with my bare fingers, but it is looks like a mechanical wind-up, which is nice to see, so I don't have to worry about batteries. And it is a classic style music box where we have the little bumps on the drum, twang the metal ribbon, and you get tones. So there we go. That's pretty cool. And we'll take a look at our instructions. And we do have parts layout, which is good. Oh, that's wax, that mysterious clump, I guess, for lubrication. Okay. And we assemble, building a base and going onwards, building up. So Then we get into here assembling more of our elements, getting into the gear drive to drive the astrolabe assemblies, and then putting the final pieces together. And okay, we even have some instructions for tuning and aligning. That's good to know. It's disappointing to build something that is supposed to work only to find out it does not. And here we go. We have some more. Oh, this is good. We have little alignment tools to keep everything in check during the assembly. That will probably be one of the most important illustrations in the instructions. And then again, checking alignments. That is, haven't built it yet, but I have to say I am very happy to see that. That is going to be super handy. And then putting in more of the final astronomical arcs. And there we go. End up with an assembled unit. So, I love natural wood, but I may, I have to see, because my basement is sort of scattered all over the house right now. So I don't even know what kind of work area, if any, I'm going to have in the garage, to the point of I may just use wood stain on some of these pieces to give a little more definition of this assembly, or at least maybe do dark stain on the base to highlight the, or at least contrast to the upper structure. But we shall see. As far as the tune, apparently it is Memory from Cats, so that should have a nice tone. Okay, so here we go. Now, assembly is complete. But before we look at the finished product, I just wanted to say a few quick things. So first, instructions. Now, I just wanted to take a moment to comment about this since it's a different kind of kit, building in wood rather than building in plastic. Company I had never built before, and I always like to take a little time talking about instructions when I go with a kit from a company I've never built a kit from previously. So no problems with the instructions, happy to say. And they do list the part breakdown here, which is handy, but which I found to be most handy, and this is almost more, well, it's part instructions, part kit design. These one-to-one diagrams for the little plastic beads that form the planetary spheres and the plastic shafts, the metal shafts, that they give you these in one-to-one, so you just can lay them on the instruction sheet, very much like with a Tamiya instruction sheet. So that's really handy. And then in terms of kit design, we have the handy depth gauge that they instruct you to build. And this was really cool because I found it made the assembly so simple. And I often talk about elegant solutions, practical, simple things that work out well. And this worked out great. They could have just shown, as I indicated during the build, they just could have shown on the side of the instructions a one-to-one diagram or even a scale diagram just saying you need X number of millimeters between this gear and that gear, and you would have had to sit there and measure. But this just made it so handy because you put it on there, pushed it in, and that was it. You were right on. And then just to double check, they gave you this other gauge to check the gaps between the different gears and planes. So cool stuff right there. Appreciate that because, it was a simple thing for them to put onto the wood plates that were laser etched, but they didn't have to. And I appreciate that. Plus the fact that there is quite a bit of alignment going on here with all the various gearing mechanisms to make sure everything works right, because you have several layers of construction. All those gears need to be on plane. So like I said, those little tools, simple thing, but much appreciated. The other thing I appreciated with the kit, and I have them in a bag, is they actually give you quite a few spare pieces. And again, they could have left these areas of the wood plates unused as just blank, but they went ahead and etched in those parts as well. These pieces in particular were nice to see on here because even though this is really wild the way they etched this so that it would fold, they are quite delicate, and I was lucky in that I didn't break any during assembly, but it's nice to see that they give you an extra one of each kind, the double on this layer, single on this layer, double on the base layer, single on the base layer, so that if you do have a mishap and something gets broken, hey, you got a replacement. And then in here, we have, I think I wanted to point out because they were just so much fun to work with. Yes, that is sarcasm. These little plastic bushings for the shaft. I didn't lose any, but I almost had a few that took flight on me. They were a bit of a little pain. Plenty of extra double-sided tape for making sure the spheres stay on their shafts. Extra wax, the handy-dandy little screwdriver, different color spheres because you get to pick and choose how you want to do your planet colors, and even 2 extra shafts if you should lose one of those. So that's pretty cool. And a few extra of the smaller pieces. It is wood, so you do press on these things the wrong way, they will break on you. So you have extras there. Again, if you have any mishaps during assembly, you are in good hands. Okay, so that's it. Whoops, hit the camera. That's it. And when I come back, we will see the finished Starry Night. Alrighty. Okay, so here we go. The Woodocity Starry Night, all done. All right. Now, first things first, obviously did not stick with all the natural wood. I showed how I went with the gunstock stain for the bottom, and as luck would have it, because all my paints are packed away from my basement mess, had some Rust-Oleum, they call it chrome, but it's more like, at least on the wood, came out as this silvery color, and the idea of using that was to try to one, give some more contrast, and two, to give it a little bit of a metallic look. Nickel, silver, aluminum tones go very well with a darker wood tone, so I knew that would work. And then the contrast with the natural wood for all the mechanical mechanism and where the actual planets sit, I think gives a nice product. All right, so how well does it fit? Let's talk about that. Now, you saw while I was building it, the pieces fit together. The laser cutting on the pieces was pretty well spot on. I didn't have any issue with something not wanting to fit. That said, the fit is rather tight, and you saw while I was building it a couple of times, I did go in with a needle nose to try to get things to seat and go in. That said, because it's wood and you're fitting tabs into notches, you need to come in straight from the tab to the notch. If you're at an angle, good luck. It's going to be a little difficult, and you'll have to do a little more work to pull it back out and feed in straight in the alignment between the tab and the slot of the piece. So the only thing that really gave me a bit of a headache were those little plastic bearings that the various metal shafts feed through. Trying to press fit something tiny, black, and round, these little itty-bitty pieces, not my most fun experience. But at the end of the day, I have to say they do their job, they work well, and the mechanism runs fine. Now, I will wind it up so we can see it in action in a moment, but I'm just waiting for that, so I'm not talking over the music, because I would like to have that captured. You will notice when I run it, there is a little hesitation, cyclical hesitation in the action of the movement. I have tinkered around with it, making sure all my gears were aligned and everything else. I could not find anything obvious. What I did notice is that in the meshing of every gear tooth, there is a little bit of play. And I think what is happening is, at a certain point, the little bit of play in each of those gear meshes adds up, and then there's a little pause, and then it starts running again. It's not binding because the music continues to play fine, and the same spring drive runs all of that, so I know that. But I think that is just the issue. Nothing is scuffing, nothing is binding, like I said, so that seems to be all good. Now, granted, that little hesitation that you'll see, that may well be because of the way I built it, and maybe I don't have things perfectly vertical and whatnot. Because it is press tab and wood cut, you're not working with metal, or even like an engineering plastic for that matter. There is a little vagueness sometimes in getting things level and straight, and indeed I do not have everything perfectly level and straight in my build. I found adjusting one way just took it out in another way, because you're not dealing with a simple right angle, you're dealing with planes moving in relation to each other in terms of the gears. So that started to get way more complicated and time consuming than I was just willing to do. It runs, the little pause doesn't really bother me. It is still, I find, very peaceful to watch it working. I love watching gear mechanisms in motion. I don't know what it is. It is, I guess, the way my brain is built. I just find that very relaxing to watch. Captivating, I would say. So in its final build, now again, I did do the stain and the spray. You could leave it all natural wood, but I think what is neat with this is you really could have a piece that you could put on a shelf, in a room, as opposed to, model cars and trucks, which probably would not be general decor. Let's say, they reside better in a hobby area for display, whereas this is something that you could have, on a shelf. It's an interesting piece. It looks nice when it's done, and it seems more like something that might have been bought in a store for decor. So everybody's taste is different. I'm just guessing here, but that would be my guess. So all that said, that is the build. It is done. So let's wind this up and I will let it play. And in the meantime, I would just like to say thank you for watching, subscribing, all of that good YouTube stuff. Hit that alert button, share, the deal. So until next time, thank you for watching. There we go.